A new and even creepier chapter begins as a desperate Jessie makes a deal with Grandma Langelle to try and save a mostly dead Tulip. You know the difference between mostly dead and all dead? In this case, Purgatory. It's the Season 3 premiere of Preacher, Episode 1, Angelville. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome back. It's a brand new season of Preacher. Very excited about this. Of course, here is your standard spoiler warning. All right, let's get that out of the way. Very excited to have this show back. I've missed it. I missed its zany kookiness. It's off the wall. It's beautiful blend of serious and insanity. I think this show really does this kind of like no other show. And really, we dive in just kind of perfectly from the very beginning. I have to say, the whole opening is a kind of basic a flashback to, it ends up being Jessie's mother and kind of establishing what would be the heyday of Angelville, of Mama Langelle's, Grandma Langelle's kind of fiefdom. And, you know, and it was kind of perfect because, again, we get a little bit of the creepiness. I love the setup for the sobriety spell. Drink alcohol, just spit it right up. Can't keep it down. That's going to keep you sober. The old couple there for a libido spell, get a little bit of action into them. So it seems like kind of serving the community in a sense. But straight off, we start to see that there's probably a price to all of this. And that, of course, is what appears to be a corpse, an animated corpse. Well, we get two ones. I mean, we get the dancing corpse in the very beginning. That we just see the hand kind of all puppeting out and everything. And I'm like, this is a dead body? Is this like a zombie? Somebody who's just given control over? Not entirely sure. But okay, so that sort of sets things up. Then we get the nice little kind of like community work. And then we get in the back room, like I said, the other corpse seemingly popping up. Wanting attention, wanting to get back in, wanting to see her. Now later on, when Grandma Langelle's telling the story to Cassidy about this person that she loved and did a whole love spell, I'm assuming that's who this was right here. Which goes to say that if she helps, if she works with you, there's always a price. And that price seems to be kind of a sort of eternal, I don't know, servitude? There certainly seems to be layers on that. So again, so you get the kind of the whole creepy sense of things, as well as the sort of face of serving the community. So again, an interesting balance for a character. But is she dark? Yes. Is she creepy? Yes. Is the whole family off? Oh, by far. Jody and TC are just kind of like, they're just sort of the perfect creepy cousins. Oh, right there. I'm not sure what the actual relationship is. But again, it was just kind of, it really sets the scene nicely. But, of course, we get who is to be Jessie's mother, trying to apparently escape, get away, has been serving Grandma Langelle, Marie Langelle, but now trying to, what I'm guessing is to escape. She's got what appears to be the picture of Jessie, has to hide this. So apparently her having a child wasn't known to Grandma Langelle, which has to imply that at least for some time she was away from the family. I know there's a whole setup in the comic books. I'm not sure how much they're going to carry on over onto here, but I am guessing she has at some point ran away. That's probably where she met Jessie's dad. They had a thing. She was pregnant. She gave birth, and then the family found her again, or she returned for some reason. Not entirely sure, but this seems to be a surprise to Grandma Langelle, seeing the picture of the baby, that little Jessie there wasn't part of her knowledge. So this does imply that she was at least gone for a long enough time in order to be pregnant before coming back. But heavy price for lying to Grandma Langelle. That's for damn sure. And that is also set perfectly in that opening sequence. Cutting open the daughter to pull out the picture. Nasty and gross. And then not even sewing her back up. Hooking her up to the machine. So that would cost the mom her life. Yeah, not entirely sure how all this sort of panned out. So I'm curious to see, is this where mom died? And then Jesse was raised with his dad by himself. And then afterwards, of course, Jody comes in and kills dad at some point. So kind of curious how, and then that obviously got Jesse back to live with Grandma Langelle for a certain while. So we're starting to see put all the little pieces together, but certainly an effective way of establishing just how wrong this family is, and certainly why Jesse wanted to do anything but come back here. But of course, come back he does, has to. Tulip's dead, can't let Cass turn her into a vampire, willing to make that risk and pay the price. We've already seen there are heavy prices that are to be paid for making a deal with Grandma Langelle. Jesse, willing to do it. I love the line when he says, "I'll do anything." She just says back, "Anything's a big word." Yes, it is. You don't say anything, you make a deal. You'd be very specific. Anything, is that for how long is the deal is? Is it one particular task? That's not entirely clear. Not that Jesse's really in a position to negotiate right now, especially since there does seem to be that purgatory clock ticking. But I have to say, the opening scene, as they come in and we get the little back and forth with Cassidy, was perfect. I mean, obviously this is, Cassidy very upset, already expressed his hatred when we had the season finale there of Jesse. Not happy about taking the chances with Tulip's life, who she feels that she could have saved. And what do two people when they're angry at each other? They lash out. Well, I mean, again, they're not necessarily angry at each other. They're angry at what has happened with Tulip. But then we got mad and they throw it at each other. So, of course, Cass tells the big story. Yes, I slept with Tulip. And goes over just about as well as Tulip had warned Cassidy it would. Which is, in fact, our scene of the week for this week. I know there's a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of interesting things at the moment, but I have to say this is the one that sort of stuck with me. And I loved just, again, the framing of it. And what I'm talking about specifically is just the fight. The fight between Cass and Jesse. Because it's not really in focus at any point during the fight. It is used as a transition piece. It is used as a focal area. I mean, first off, we have, of course, Jesse and Cass fighting in the background. Again, a little bit out of focus, but where's the focus? On Tulip. Because she is the most important thing right here. Her life is in danger. They have run all the way to here in order to try and save her. And what are they doing? They're fighting each other as she's sitting there with the clock ticking. And I'm assuming that Jesse already knows that there is, and he does seem to imply, that there is a limited amount of time in order to do this. So not only do we have that, again, it's a great perfect focus of the ridiculousness of the men going on while the main important focus is right here and being ignored. But not only that, as we get the transition change and we get the shot of the dripping IV bag, revealing, of course, Marie Langelle, Grandma Langelle, to be watching them as they're fighting in the doorway and tossing and so on. And again, background out of focus, we're, soft focus, we're seeing just the IV bag introducing Grandma Langelle. And by doing that, it's, it tells a couple of things. One, we saw Jesse going around looking in all the rooms. So Grandma Langelle does seem to have additional powers. Not only is it just the bringing things back to life and the spell work, but in a way making herself invisible. The house looked empty, but obviously they were here. They were watching. It's like she just wants to get an evaluation, just sort of see what's going on before letting herself come in. So it really just shows that kind of darkness in her. She's always there to measure, to see where the advantage is. And I just thought it was perfectly done, as these two guys are completely just self-absorbed in expressing their anger and frustration and taking it out on each other. They're ignoring the important elements right around them. So I thought that was just sort of a perfect sort of setup and transition piece to the dangers that this place represents. Definitely one of the dangers represented in Angelville is, of course, Jody. The man that killed Jesse's father. That's sort of a perfect way of introducing. Immediately sets up that there's going to be tension between these two individuals. And Jody, of course, very impressive, very scary individual. Just the little introduction scene was a little tropic of just a sort of tension standoff. And is everything okay? Are we going to have a problem? He's got the bloody knife and the paws and and then he just comes in and does the big hug, sort of like releases all of the tension right there. So, I mean, that was a little tropic. That was almost a little expected. I'm like, oh my God. As soon as they had the tension, I'm like, he's going to hold it for a minute and then they're going to go in and hug and it's going to be okay. Which would think that maybe they've gotten past the killing a dad? No, probably not. But maybe they've gotten to a better place. Certainly as they go and raid for the transpo, seems to be just like old times. Jody is definitely seeing not the priest in Jesse, but his older, more rambunctious self, for sure. Jody definitely illustrated here as a one-man army as he just tears through the entire gang and just has Jesse waiting out in the back. But that made me feel good feeling doesn't last that long. Again, we're seeing a lot more. Manipulation is the Angelville way, it appears. Yeah, I'll help you out. I'll get the thing just so you want it the most, and then I'm going to go ahead and exact my revenge or fight or battle or whatever each party has had involved. For Jody, of course, it seems whooping Jesse's ass. Which, again, from a fight standpoint, was a little basic. Jody starts off, beats Jesse, says something bad about Tulip. That makes Jesse mad. Jesse comes up, whacks the heck out of Jody for a minute. Almost looks like he's going to win, but then Jody turns around because, again, one-man army. Jesse's awesome, powerful as AF, but Jody here being established as a force to be reckoned with. Certainly picking up a truck to drop on top of just, it's a little much, don't you think? So... Again, broken up by Grandma Langell. That's not where we're going. You can't kill Jesse Custer in the opener of season 3 that ends the series. But again, we do establish Jody as a force to be reckoned with and someone who is definitely going to be a problem and one that I am sure Jesse would be more than happy to settle. The Purgatory stuff was really well done. It actually reminded me a lot of some of the basic Star Trek episodes where we just had kind of like half set and floating motions, just giant black boxes with small little, just single set pieces in. So yeah, I really loved the setting of it. I loved how they just had constructed all of that sort of trapped in the room. And through this, we're getting a little bit of background on Tulip, of course. Her growing up as family. Mom, pretty much a prostitute. Dad in jail, not able to get over the O'Hare curse. Just another bad O'Hare, something like that, I believe they said. So, again, it was a good way of sort of setting the hopes of a young Tulip up with the reality of how everything went out. I really enjoyed how that whole sequence was really done. I loved the little ending. When it did finally come time for her to be pulled back, how the kid starts is like, no, I'm not ready to go. Child services show up. It's like, we're ready to go. This is the end. The knocking's happening. From what Grandma Langell said, we're expecting that's death. If she opens the door, it's time to go. But the little kid, her little self was like, no, not ready to go. Gonna sit here. What? I got blueberries. I got my favorite things. Which was great. And I loved how Tulip is kind of like weighs it all out and finally is like, I need more time. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'll sit and have some cereal, sort of figure it out. So I like the whole little sequence there. I thought it was well done. I love the sort of duel we had between Jesse and Cassidy. Jesse's trying to plead for her to get out. Cassidy's like, no, let's listen to the music. Obviously, we know we've got more of this tension between the two of them, which is going to play out, I think, for a while this season. But yeah, how the music kind of gets her first attention. Favorite things show up. How we have the phone call and she's trying to reach out. Ends up being when they put the transpo on her mouth, pulls out and it's a battery for the clock to give her more time. Lots of symbolism here. Anyway, I really enjoyed the whole Purgatory setup. I love the way that she was out of it. I love the little glimpses into her family. Was nice. However, when she comes out of it, sure, she's happy to see Jesse, but did she just give googly eyes to Cassidy? I think so. I think maybe Mama Langelle put a little bit of something extra inside of that resurrection spell. Remember the whole story? She was saying about her lover, who we saw in the beginning. I want to see her. You get long-term effects. Those love spells don't wear off, I guess. That's what she was trying to say. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Yeah, getting someone's attention is an exciting thing for the short little while, but an obsessive attention after a bit could cause you to kill the person and then resurrect them and use them as zombie slave labor or something. I don't know what she's doing yet. We'll figure that out. But the whole story as she's telling this, and he's eating that pepper, that ghost pepper there, keep it in the mouth. I love how he's doing that, and especially at the end there where we just get the sort of snot coming out of his nose. It's so hot. But I think by having him chew on that, and she says it would help call her out, I think she used that peppery stuff as in part of the spell to put a little connection between Cass and Tulip. And what she was saying, if you want something, just ask for it. I'm very appreciative that you brought Jesse home. This is her way of manipulating because, of course, if Tulip goes with Cass, and then she can't pull on Jesse anymore, and Jesse's already made an obligation to Grandma there. So, again, manipulating, separating them all apart. Kind of like what Hair Star was trying to do. It's always the way to get a hold of somebody. Isolate them, remove their friends. Either kill them or make them fall in love with each other so they'll leave and Jesse will be all sad. And finally, of course, gotta have a mission for this season, and that, of course, Alright, stop it, you're freaking me out! It's him. It's Dog. God, This was the first poster they had, I gotta say. I thought that was the one for the season. They do have a different one. I'm going to have to probably change it out because I don't know if I can sit here all season with him staring at me like that. But yes, God appearing to Tulip as she leaves Purgatory with a mission, which I believe is to take out the Langelles. Get them! I think that's what she said. I had to rewind it a couple of times because I didn't know if she was just interrupted and she woke up because that would have been kind of hilarious. It was like, what I want you to do is get, and then she wakes up. Oh, damn it, didn't get the final words from God. But no, get them seems to be. And the direction that she points when Tulip wakes up, that does seem the actual direction that Grandma Langelle was sitting in. Which kind of, I think, gave her that sort of surprise of like, who the hell are you? Not only this creepy old lady staring at her, I mean, just creepy old lady staring at her. But I think that's pointing the direction. So I think that seems to be what he was referring to, but we'll probably get a little bit more specific onto that. But yeah, there's a mission for Tulip. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Just creepy. Okay, and lastly, the price. The anything that Grandma Langelle was extracting from Jesse. He wasn't being very specific about it, but it did seem to include his blood. Now, is that the dedication? Is that just sort of the promise? Is that sort of the contractual bind, sort of the signing your name in blood type kind of idea? Certainly when Jesse mentioned that he could just change his mind, betray her, kill her, push her over in the chair, Grandma Langelle does seem to have thought of that. go ahead and try. So is part of that like a binding spell to keep him from doing that? Does it just keep him bound to her? If something happens to her, then does something happen to him? You know, kind of thing. You kill me, then you die because of it. There's going to be a lot of layers in with that. But the one other thing that I was thinking of, is it making her stronger? Is it making her younger? Is it healing her? Because she is certainly creeped out at the very beginning. But at the end, that last little scene with her, she looked a little bit better. I mean, not great, still in the wheelchair, still with an IV, but looked, I mean, it could have just been lighting, could have just been angles, but I'm wondering if part of that magic is a way of maintaining her. Does she extract life force from people? Is that part of the deal? Something to watch out for. All right, so that is it. We have our establishment, the main storyline. It's not the only one. Didn't see anything about the Grail, nothing about Hair Star, and let's not forget Hitler is loose in the world. What is he going to do? Run for president? I don't know. Actually, it seems the title opening credits, he's going to be working at a Baskin Robbins or something. But Baskin Robbins always finds out. Anyway, we'll have to sort of wait and see with that. It's going to be a great season. Really looking forward to seeing where they are going to go with this, and thank you so much for joining me. Got a lot of episodes ahead. This is the only show that I'm doing this summer. I've got a few little side projects I want to try and work on, and I've been doing so many shows I don't have any other free time to do anything else, so I'm going to try and balance things out. So Preacher's going to be it for the summer, but hey, what a show to spend the summer with. That's going to be it for now, though. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you enjoyed this review, go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, and comments, you know where to put them down in the section below. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Subscribe, please. Again, just the beginning here. We got the whole season ahead. Don't miss a single review if you're a subscriber. Do that by clicking my face right here. And I'll throw up our season finale review of Westworld and something else exciting right here. You can check that out. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.